All right, the point of this lecture is to go over Multisim, which will be part of your Project 5. So Multisim is one of a number of packages. Some of the more well-known would be PSpice, LTSpice, and there are several others. What these packages allow you to do is they allow you to simulate circuits online by sketching a schematic of the circuit and then simulating the circuit so that you can actually use this almost like you were building the circuit and making a measurement. So the first thing that you need to do is the website is located at multisim.com. I think I mentioned to you in class that the system has been a little bit unstable, and so occasionally here lately it has been going down. So should that happen, you just need to keep trying because it does seem to come back up. The other option is you could utilize the actual download. If you want to utilize the actual download, you can just Google National Instruments Multisim download for students, and it'll show you how to download a trial. So anyway, I highly recommend the cloud version. It's very simple to use, and it's overall a very simple program. So what we do here, so you will have to sign up with an account. This is created by National Instruments. We do have the National Instruments LabVIEW software. It's a very common, well-known engineering software, and we do have that license on campus for free. But we do not have a license for Multisim. If you're going to sign up for the online service, you'll need a National Instruments account, and you should open that account using your Texas Tech student email so that in the future you're able to utilize that same account either to purchase the inexpensive student edition of Multisim or do a trial download or do a free download of National Instruments LabVIEW software. So anyway, I've already joined and I'm already signed in. So what I want to do is I want to push, and this is what you should do, this button here called Create a Circuit. So what this does is this pulls up a user interface, and this is very much a drag and drop kind of situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate one of the circuits on your homework. So we'll just flip back and forth between your homework set and Multisim. So here is one of your homework problems. And what I'm going to do is reproduce this circuit in Multisim. So in this video, we'll show how to use the drag and drop in order to reproduce the circuit. So first of all, so that I don't have to flip back and forth too much, I'm just going to reproduce the geometry and then we'll come back and edit the values. So I've got one current source and 3 resistors. So these are various drag and drop icons. So if you click on one, this is the one for sources, and you see that you have several options. We are working with DC sources, so you have the option for DC current or DC voltage. Note that in Multisim, their DC voltage source is sketched like a battery. The longer horizontal line is the positive polarity. The shorter one is the negative polarity. But what we want in this example is we want the current source. So we're just going to drag and drop a current source over here. And then if you recall, we have 3 resistors. So I'll drag and drop 3 resistors. And 2, 3. And then you'll notice this button right here allows you to rotate that resistor so that you can hook this up to look however you want it to look. All right, now let's go back and verify how the connections are made. So back to the circuit, you can see these two are in series. This one, so I'm going to need to reorient that one. And then here's my current source. So let me come here and we'll flip that one around, move it down. So now what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to hook all of this together. And basically you can just click on these and that selects them and allows you to move them around or change their values or whatever. So now I've got everybody kind of lined up. So now the nice thing about Multisim is you don't have to select a wire. It automatically knows if you come and you click one of these points that you're wiring this together. You notice that the wire's in red. That's indicating that everything is good. And then you click again and it puts the wire in place. And the X, of course, would allow you to remove the wire. Then we can do this. And sometimes you have to click it just to be sure it connects. And then we'll connect these two. Clicking that again. And then, let's see here. We'll connect here. You see how I'm getting that circle? That's kind of telling me, yeah, you're hooked up. And then finally, see if I can get that to look a little bit better. Escape, hitting the escape key if you don't like the way this is looking is one way to get this to shut down. And once again, double clicking after you've got the wire where you want it. I think I can maybe, yeah. Sometimes it'll let you move wires around lower like that. Other times it won't. Usually it will. Okay, so now I've got everybody hooked up. Now, for a simulation to work, you need somewhere to locate an arbitrary ground, especially if you're going to do some voltage measurement. It depends, a lot of this depends on which circuit simulation you're using and which version. But a lot of times if you start out without a ground, you won't be able to run the simulation. Where you put the ground is typically not relevant to measuring currents. It can sometimes be relevant to measuring voltages, but oftentimes the simulation will not run if there's a problem with the ground. Okay, now coming back and looking, you can see that my resistor values are 1.5, or my current source is 1.5 amps. I have 100, 150, and 250 ohms. So let's come back and modify. So if I double click on this, it pulls up a menu over here. And this particular current source is a DC source. It's telling me right now that the magnitude of that current is 1 amp. I can just come in and edit that and make it 1.5. Okay, and push enter, and that should make the necessary changes. This resistor was, I think, 100 ohms. Right now it's saying 1K. I'll just adjust that, make that 100. And I think this one, let's go back and look one more time. 150 and 250. So this one was 150. And by the way, Multisim understands abbreviations. So you notice, for example, over here on R3, it says 1K for kiloohms. It'll also understand a capital M for mega, a lowercase m for milli. And so this one was 250. Okay, so that has everything all set up with the right values. So I'm going to temporarily shut down this video so that the videos don't get too lengthy, and then we'll start back up and illustrate how to actually do the current and voltage measurements.